to a Monday edition of Weather Unfiltered. Our music is really cerebral today, I feel like.
It's very pensive. We have a lot to consider.
We do. I'm Alex Wilson, our hurricane expert. Dr. Rick Knabb going to walk us through all the considerations here as we watch something in the tropics. We're also watching more storms this week.
Yeah, you know, every named storm in the Atlantic so far this year has directly affected land. This next one is going to be no different. It's just a different place this time.
Yeah, we've already got concerns for places like Puerto Rico, so we're going to be walking you through that. That is PTC 5 that Dr. Knabb was alluding to. I mentioned the severe risk coming back into parts of the West and the central U.S. and fire, Dr. Knabb, continues to be a real issue out west.
Yeah, some places have gotten too much rain recently. Some would like a drop or two, please.
Right. We would like to moisten things up and turn down the heat, too. It just has not been the story. But we're going to start with the opposite side of the coin, the extreme rainfall.
I mean, this is the time of year where just about anybody can get too much rain and get flooding, and you don't need a tropical cyclone coming through your state to have tropical moisture in huge amounts.
6.5+ inches coming down yesterday, all-time wettest August day, and the 7th all-time any month day rainfall.
Yeah, that's the stat that really blows my mind, that of all the days we've ever dealt with, it's in the top 10? I mean, it's just a random day in August, right?
Right, and I think a lot of people woke up to rainy morning and then were like, it's not stopping. And sure enough, by the time all is said and done, over 6.5 inches in one day. I mean, that's months worth of rain for some areas.
Yeah, and it all has to do with how the upper level pattern sets up. And that pattern, I wouldn't say it's changing in a huge way. There are some other areas, maybe Missouri, that could get some flooding over the next couple of days, and hopefully it doesn't overachieve like this did.
Yeah, you know, we've got opportunities for showers and thunderstorms, as you said, repeated. That could lead to flooding issues. St. Louis, Missouri, one of the areas that we will be and the dry weather would lead to that risk of wildfire. All right, we've got active wildfires right now. These are the large ones, greater than 100 acres, 237 of those with a total acreage of 3.1 million plus. These are those red flag alerts that I told you about in effect for parts of the West. And then we've got the elevated or critical danger for wildfires today. Farther to the north, that area outlined in the purple color, that's where we could see dry thunderstorms. That's when you get a thunderstorm, the rain evaporates before it reaches the ground, but the lightning strikes, they make it to the ground. That can lead to a fire. And then remember, you didn't get the rain. So unfortunately, now you've got lightning hitting dry ground. Here's a look at the forecast explained for dry lightning. So you've got an environment, especially down at the surface or through the layer between the cloud and ground, where the air is exceptionally dry. That air helps to evaporate any precip coming down from the cloud. So you'll see that virga almost looks streaky, almost like the cloud's a jellyfish sometimes. That's virga. That's the rain or precip evaporating before it reaches the ground. The rain, again, doesn't moisten the surface. The lightning, however, from that high cloud-based thunderstorm does reach the ground, and that leads to the start of a fire. So when we talk about preparedness levels across sections of the West, we're at a 5, the highest level, high-end threat, and it's expected to remain high across the West. We've been following the story for weeks. It's been hot. It's been dry across our western states. Right now, we've got the Park Fire, 37% containment, 429,000 acres. So, you know, we've come a long way with this one. We still have a ways to go, unfortunately, as we are dealing with more fire conditions expected across sections of the West. And again, they still have 60+% containment to go. Largest wildfires in California history. Park Fire now at the number 4 spot. So this made its way up the list very quick. Had a lot of expansive terrain burned very quickly. And when we look at the acreage burned in California this year, running well above average, Dr. Knabb.
Well, Alex, as extreme wildfire events become more common, scientists have been tracking the data. The number of days with favorable fire conditions have changed. And there's just all kinds of nasty stuff in floodwaters when rivers are overflowing for days afterwards.
Sewage, bugs,
critters that don't seem to mind that kind of sewage.
Yeah, things you don't want to meet up with on a street. We'll leave it at that. Welcome back into Weather Unfiltered on this Monday. I'm Alex Wilson here with Dr. Knabb. Finally said goodbye to Debbie. Obviously, more to watch in the tropics.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we still have some rain in the Carolinas and still have a flood risk there, and an increasing concern for the northeastern Caribbean. what's probably going to become Ernesto is also going to directly affect land like all the other 4 storms have so far this year.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one. We haven't had any of these storms that don't affect anybody. They stay out, they mind their business. Now, this may make a turn and not affect the U.S., but some of our territories and other Caribbean islands will see impacts.
Yeah, and this has a chance to become a major hurricane, and we know what major hurricanes near Bermuda do. They send swells to the East Coast. I don't think the East Coast isn't going to have any dangers.
Yeah, we're not getting off the hook so easy. And the flooding from what was Hurricane Debbie, of course, started in